Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
Simulang Afsheni Ralo Chastan Manani Mulweni. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our community. Now, today we begin with a developing story from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the conflict in eastern region has taken another dramatic turn. Now, the violence in and around Goma, which is actually a city of over 2 million people, has escalated with the M23 rebels and the Rwandan forces involved in an ongoing offensive. Now, the death toll has actually risen and a humanitarian crisis is deepening by the day. But in response to Rwanda's involvement in the conflict, Germany has taken a significant step by canceling a scheduled meeting with Rwandan officials. Now, the German government said on Tuesday that it will no longer hold the planned government consultations with Rwanda next month, citing Rwanda's role in the current crisis in the DRC. Now, let me take a moment to reflect what this decision by Germany really means, right? As Africa continues to struggle with the aftermath of centuries of exploitation and conflict, I think that it is incredibly disheartening to witness African nations fighting one another over resources and power. But what's more painful is the lack of accountability that often accompanies these conflicts. I mean, when international powers, especially European nations, make moves like this, canceling meetings, cutting aid, and condemning actions, I believe it's important to ask, what does this mean for Africa's sovereignty? I mean, Germany's development ministry stated the talks on development cooperation would only resume once Rwanda and the M23 cease the escalation and pull back from the offensive. And this is a firm stance, no doubt, right? But there's a deeper issue at play here. I mean, Germany and other international bodies like the European Union have pointed to the situation as a violation of international law. And for me, the question remains, how do we hold Africa accountable when foreign powers often have a hand in fueling these conflicts through their own agendas?
In der Tat haben wir ja im Ostkongo übers Wochenende eine ziemliche extreme Lageverschärfung. Wir sprechen mit unseren Partnern in den Vereinten Nationen. Sie haben gesehen, dass der UN-Sicherheitsrat ja gestern eine Sitzung zu der Causa hatte, auch dort nochmal unsere Forderungen sozusagen verstärkt hat, die wir ja hier am Freitag auch schon dargelegt haben, dass sich die Truppen zurückziehen müssen, dass sich M23 zurückziehen muss, dass sich ausländische Kräfte die ruandischen Truppen zurückziehen müssen. Für uns steht im Vordergrund unseres Handelns, dass wir jetzt auf diese Lageeskalation reagieren. Da wird es Gespräche geben, wir werden mit Rwanda sprechen, es wird auch einen Kontakt zur kongolesischen Außenministerin heute noch in New York geben. Müssen wir jetzt alles tun, und das tun wir als internationale Gemeinschaft zusammen mit unseren Partnern, um dort wieder hin zurückzukommen.
I mean, the international community condemns Rwanda's support for the M23, but as Africans, we must ask ourselves, who are the real beneficiaries of the instability in our regions? Often these conflicts are tied to mineral resources and control over land, which unfortunately attract in external interests. And Rwanda's involvement, if true, cannot be viewed in a vacuum. I believe that the geopolitical strategies, the historical wounds, and the economic interests all intertwine in this conflict. And I must also acknowledge the human costs of these actions. I believe that at least 700 people have lost their lives since Sunday, and the situation is becoming worse. With the United Nations halting food assistance in and around Goma due to safety concerns, over 2 million people have already fled their homes in the eastern DRC with no end in sight. And the civilians in these areas, fortunately, like many other conflicts across the continent, remain the ones who suffer the most. And the African Union has also stepped in, calling for the M23 to lay down arms and for an immediate ceasefire. But again, the problem runs deeper than just military engagements. The reality is that Africa's internal conflicts often have external players shaping the course of the events, whether it's Rwanda's role or the broader international community's involvement. The stakes are always high when Africa's resources are on the line. And what about African leadership, right? The fact that Germany, a non-African power, is making this bold statement while the African Union can only issue a plea actually speaks volumes. I mean, are we as Africans ready to take full ownership of our continent's peace and security? Or will we continue to allow the outside influence to dictate our futures? And these, I believe, are hard questions we need to address as Africans. So, as we watch this crisis unfold in the DRC, I believe we must keep the focus on the people. The more than 200 million people that are displaced and the countless lives affected by the violence. Those are the people we need to keep our eyes on. The international community can take steps to influence the players involved, but the ultimate responsibility, I believe, lies with the African leaders to ensure that there's peace and there's security and there's justice. As Africans, it's time we demand more from our leaders because our peace cannot be outsourced. Now, as the situation continues to unfold, we will be keeping a close eye on how the international community responds and whether the true peace can be achieved for the people of the DRC. But one thing is clear, right? This conflict has a long way to go before a lasting resolution is actually reached. What are your thoughts on this? Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And while you edit, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we